Hello. Preparation this morning, and one of the things that I wish to do is to make sure that if I'm using a paintbrush that I have an individual paintbrush for each colour, and I will treat these handles and give them a coat of paint. But before I can paint them in the correct colour, first of all we need to give them a bit of a sand, and I've done that on all of these anyway, but I'm just showing you. So we sand the paintbrush handle and then wipe it with a bit of this meths, and that's ready to be painted. Now I shall prime the handles with some red oxide primer. I've got some in here. Always a good idea to use a newspaper. I suppose in years to come there won't be newspapers, and I don't read these things. They're the particular rag that I've got here comes free with the shopping, and I do not wish to pay the owner. Something I'm looking for. Here it is. And a couple more brushes. Now I shall use these for this next job. So this red oxide primer has probably gone hard a little bit, developed a skin on the inside. Yep. That's not a problem. Yeah, it's all still in there, available to use. Now, it's very important when you're painting anything to be prepared. And part of that preparation is to know where you're going to put something once it's dried. There is nothing worse than wandering around with wet painted anything, wondering where you're going to put it. So in a magnificent display of pre-preparation, I've made this. It's been sitting in the garage, and this is where I'm going to clip each paintbrush once it's wet, just like that, and then the handle can dry and it'll all be lovely. More preparation in case this had been no good. I've got a fresh tin. These tins are often stood for years at a time, and you need to stir them. You can use a stick like you've just seen me do, but with a full tin, a cordless drill, an old mixer bit from a food mixer, and something to pour the turps in. Just put it in some turps afterwards and clean off your mixer bit. But that is how you mix paint without any trouble. Doesn't take anywhere near as long with this method. However, we don't need to do that just at the moment. Now, this is going to be messy, so gloves. Now the gnome that I'm going to paint has got 26 colours. So at the moment I'm doing 26 brushes, and here they all are. But only, as I say, with primer first, then I'll do them with undercoat, and after that they'll get a coat of whatever colour they need to be. Now you can tape the ferrule up, but I'm confident enough to, or sloppy enough, whichever you prefer, to just go round it by eye. And there we have the first coat on the first brush. I'll probably give them 2 coats, and then simply clip them into the holder there. And that can dry beautifully. And on we go. Preparation in all things, very important. You should know what your next step is going to be and how you are going to achieve it. And you won't always, but if you've thought about it, then you stand a fighting chance. The man that comes and empties the septic tank at this property, and I like him, he's a very wise chap, and he told me something his grandfather had told him years and years ago. He said, before you start any job at all, before you take that job on, give it 3 coats of looking at. And that is good advice. Simply put, think about what you're going to do before you do it. These brushes are relatively inexpensive. They come from China. There was a time I'd have had to go out and find a badger and shave it and somehow stick the bristles to a stick. But thank goodness we live in times where these things can be sent from China, and all I need to do is personalise them so that they're fit for the purpose for which I intend to use them. It's the first time I've used that. I'm very pleased with it. working quite as well as I want it to. It's okay. Come on, you can do better than this. Gotcha. Okay, that's the first 10. I shall do the rest of these. Next time you see me, these will be ready to rub down and give a second coat of red oxide, and after that we'll go for the undercoat. Okay, thanks for joining me. See you again soon.